What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai, an extension of Anime Senpai PH channel. All pieces of information are derived from the light novel. In today's video, we will continue to discuss Chapter 5, Volume 7 of the light novel, entitled Holy and Demonic Collide. This video is the 5th part of Chapter 5 in our Tensura spoiler video series. If you haven't watched the previous episodes, feel free to check out the links in the description below. Now, let's get to the video. Since Hinata could see Rimuru's lacking in fighting experience, she switched tactics and alternated her tempo to throw him off guard. Taking full advantage of her polished skills, she did her best to lead Rimuru to his defeat. Suddenly, Hinata's sword began to speed up. Her sword skill seemed to change gears every other moment. Hinata's Sakaguchi was in full swing, that Rimuru thought this wasn't funny, because he had to give all his best to defend himself against her attacks. Rimuru kept watch over her as they continued to exchange flurries of blows. Hinata had a bit of a smile on her face and watched Rimuru as if her victory was assured. She didn't need her eyes to pull off those moves. They were focused right on Rimuru, like sensors tuned to pick up on everything in the area and detect attacks. The core of Hinata's body remained firm and kept her in a natural position that could handle any advance or retreat. None of Hinata's moves were forced because she could pull off a variety of attacks from a relaxed neutral position without any wind-up required. Meanwhile, Rimuru didn't know how Hinata was reading all his attacks, but it was apparent that Rimuru was an open book to her. He was watching her attack motions and was using his physical gifts to find a way to dodge. But he was being toyed with, and if this kept up, Rimuru was guaranteed to lose. He was pretty sure he was more physically gifted, but for some reason, Hinata knew every attack before Rimuru unleashed it. As a technical fighter, Hinata was clearly better, and she wasn't letting her guard down at all in this battle. Everything, the atmosphere, her personality was different from last time. And those strikes, laden with as much force as they were bound to sorely damage Rimuru if they hit. According to Raphael Sensei, the blow would not be lethal, but it would drain a large amount of magical energy, and Rimuru could be in danger. That sword of Hinata had some kind of a special force as well, because its wavelengths could change the local laws of nature, and let her sword break through Rimuru's multi-layer barrier. Raphael Sensei reported the next incoming attack and Rimuru kept himself alert. Hinata had a sharp sword on her but she worked it freely, and moved from jabs to sweep in a single, dance-like motion. She was shunning all magic or fancy moves, and relying on textbook swordplay to engage Rimuru. To be honest, Hakuro is the only other person who could take on Hinata in a sword fight. But unfortunately, the difference in potential is just too great, that Hakuro would probably lose. Looking at it like this, Hinata was truly a combat genius, because no half-hearted attacks would ever work on her. For example, summoning a replication of herself to fight her was pointless, since ultimate skills could only be used by the original body, and replications could only use up to unique skills. As a result, Hinata would just quickly massacre those clones. Even if you take Soe's approach and assign each copy only the skills they need, that gives you no freedom to change your tactics midway, which means you'll never keep up with her. Since tricks like that would not work on Hinata, Rimuru thought it would be wisest to wait Hinata out until she got exhausted. After all, exhaustion never happens to Rimuru, but to his surprise, Rimuru found Hinata just speeding up her slashes. While he was watching Hinata's motion and taking evasive action, Rimuru got panicked because he found out that he was no longer able to read Hinata's movements. And to make things even worse, Hinata was pursuing him with follow-up strikes and anticipating where Rimuru would launch each time. Rimuru understood from Raphael Sensei that he was being lured into the area Hinata planned to attack. Wherever Rimuru tried to escape to, Hinata was always there with the perfect attack. That is, Hinata can make Rimuru go wherever she wants. Rimuru's clothing got ripped, and the grazing blows were starting to pile up faster. His only chance was to have Raphael bail him out. In panic, Rimuru asked Raphael if there was anything they could do. Fortunately, Raphael responded, "Report, predict future attack learned. Use the skill? Yes, no." Raphael Sensei observed Hinata's movements, and as the professor put it explained that Hinata must be predicting Rimuru's attacks in order to dodge them also well. Raphael had learned predict future attack skill as well from watching Hinata during their battle together. Rimuru responded yes, and he confirmed that indeed he did have the skill. So he immediately used that skill, and when Rimuru did, he could see streaks of light in his vision, printed in his brain if you will, like any of his other senses. One of them was glowing, and Rimuru brought his sword up to block its trajectory. Rimuru marveled at how effortlessly it let him block Hinata's blade. Those light streaks must represent the slashes and thrusts currently possible from his adversary's position, with their projected paths. A few more repetitions and Rimuru noticed that some of these streaks were black in color, which meant unpredictability and a more threatening strike down the road. In other words, Rimuru supposed that all her feints and low-level attacks could now be pre-calculated, but a master like Hinata couldn't be predicted all the time. This pre-calculation wasn't even the scary part about this move. The streaks of light didn't represent possibilities, but the actual prediction of slashes and thrusts from his opponent's position. If the prediction was successful, there was a 100% chance of an attack coming down that way. And if that was the case, Hinata was no longer a threat to Rimuru. Her feints were no longer feints, and they were just another step down the road to perdition. And with that newfound confidence, Rimuru concluded his victory was assured. He let his body flow and followed predict future attacks guidance in an attempt to wrest Hinata's sword from her hand. Hinata believed in her sixth sense that saved her. It told her that letting her sword continue along this way would be a fatal mistake. Because of this, Hinata forced her blade away from its path and shoved her own body in the way. She made contact with Rimuru and exited to a safe distance. Rimuru looked a little surprised at this, but readied his blade once more and waited for her. Hinata did the same, but something was different. At this time, Rimuru seemed like a different fighter from before. Hinata attempted a feint, but Rimuru just ignored it. There wasn't a moment's hesitation, as if he knew exactly what Hinata would do next. Hinata was shocked that it's even more accurate than her compute prediction, and it was disturbingly close to predicting the future. Hinata felt like Rimuru was almost perfectly reading her thoughts. The speed he's growing at is incredible. Hinata may outclass him in sword skill, but his latent ability more than makes up for that. And nothing half-hearted will work against him. Coldly and impartially, Hinata compared herself to Rimuru. At that point, she realized that her chances of victory plummeted a shocking amount. Hinata had hoped for a quick resolution because more time would just shore up her opponent's position. Hinata realized that to beat this guy, she had to throw away all niceties. That is, any effort to go easy or not actively kill him. Hinata has to break out a move that she normally never shows in public, and she needs to grasp victory with it. She kept her distance and aimed for a fresh start to work with. It looked like things were largely settled around them. Everyone was stopped, as if time was frozen for them, and they were all focused on Hinata and Rimuru's battle. The two of them couldn't even attack each other any longer because they could both read so far ahead in time, and they could predict the results before they took action. Hinata spoke and told Rimuru that she had a proposal to settle the battle with the next strike. She said she had a finishing move and intended to put all her power into it. If Rimuru could withstand it, he won, otherwise he lost. Hinata warned Rimuru in advance that this move was dangerous. Then she asked Rimuru if he was willing to accept the challenge. Hinata thought he would, and now that she has kindly provided this warning, Rimuru is no longer in danger of dying from the strike. It means Hinata can use it without any regrets. If she does kill him, the high-level magic born under him could turn into berserk menaces, striking at all humankind without prejudice. Then Hinata, with her strength exhausted, could be killed at once, followed by all her weakened paladin fighters. To avoid that, Rimuru needs to be kept alive. That's it for this video, guys. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and click the bell notification icon so you will never miss the upcoming continuation of Tensura spoiler video series. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. Shout out to the top 10 commenters on my previous video. Shout out to Joshua, John Lester, Jean Mahinay, Lover Soul, Jamie Ira, Diablo, Ian AMVs, John Patrick Santos, Joji Ray, and last but not the least, shout out to Peanut. I'll see you guys in the next video.